Medical disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes. It does not replace the medical advice of a trained doctor. Seek medical advice before beginning any treatment plan. Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. I know my videos all kind of look the same, but one day I'll be able to get up in a new chair and go out and do more videos out there in the real world. But for now, this is what we do. I'd like to talk today about people who seem to think that there's only one aspect of diabetes care. I don't know why my blood sugars are out of reach because I take my insulin. Taking insulin, while it is important, and insulin has saved lives, it's only one aspect of your care. When you're diagnosed, or when I was diagnosed, you're learned 3 basic things to watch out for. You're watching for taking your insulin. So maybe there's 4, I'll do 4. Taking your insulin. 2, back then it was testing your urine, but now it's doing your blood test. 3 is eating. And 4 is knowing the symptoms of any adverse reactions. Now, 1, taking your insulin. There's many different methods. There's shots. I use a pump. But that's not the only way you can do it. There's now pens. It's so much easy, but you just have to make sure you're taking the correct dose. Now, once you progressed on your road to diabetes freedom, you will have to learn how to correct your dose. I'm not going to go through it, but there are certain guidelines that your doctor will take to help you get your blood sugars under control. So, insulin. Years ago, and I said this I think in the last video, was you were given a dose by your doctor and you stayed on that dose until you went and saw your doctor again. And before you went and saw your doctor, you had to get a blood test. Sort of a little bit still the same. Testing. You have to know where your blood sugar sits, especially if your doctor has said, you know what, I think you're able to control your insulin dosing. Oh my God, mind blowing. But you're gonna have to use your glucometer. If your doctor has given you the keys to the car, you've got to learn how to do it without messing up. And that's going to be blood tests. Now, blood tests could be, oh, well, I'm eating a high-carb meal, I'll increase it for that meal. Could be I'm running blood sugars for X amount of days, just got to increase it a bit. But don't do that without the express approval of your doctor. You need to ensure that you are able to do it correctly and that you're ready. Eating. Am I actually going to eat my words here? I've said on this channel that a type 1 diabetic can eat pretty much whatever they want. And I do stand by that. However, you have to learn how to count your carbs and make sure the insulin matches the dose. Give too much insulin, you're going to run into low blood sugars. Give too much insulin, you're going to, if you give too low insulin, you're going to be off the charts. Give too much insulin, you're going to have low blood sugars. It's not so cut and dry. Now, I've started in my later life looking at the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you follow your diet or you're eating right. Watch the salts, the fats, your carbohydrates. The other time, you can just count your carbs, take your shot, and it's really not going to affect you. It will affect you if you constantly, I want that piece of cake, but you're not going to dose to cover that piece of cake. Then you're going to run into problems. It's not an easy game to play. So don't feel bad that you don't have all the rules down pat at first. You'll learn and you'll grow with it. Next is knowing the adverse effects. When I was first diagnosed, they did a practice where they would give you your morning insulin and then you wouldn't eat until you had a low blood sugar. I sat there all morning and pretty much till 2 in the afternoon where I didn't really have an effect. And finally at 2, I can remember lying there and my heart started pumping. Boom, 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 boom. And that was the low. Now, traditionally, your lows are you're going to be sweating and you could be starting to slur your words. Your eyesight goes. And I can remember I was still a fairly new diabetic, and I was sitting in Houston at the time. We lived in Houston, and I kept doing this because my eyesight was seeing double. I didn't think that that was a sign of a low blood sugar. I hadn't had much. So, slurring, I just didn't know what was going on. I thought I was losing my eyesight. But things worked out. It was just lows. I really started to get migraine headaches. If my blood sugar dropped too quickly, that's not an ideal condition. My hand would go numb, and then I'd go 8 hours of, the whole routine. Then I would be fine and just continued on. Highs, drinking an awful lot of liquor. We kind of already know the highs because we dealt with them. Before you were diagnosed, you had symptoms. Most diabetics are in a form of DKA when they're diagnosed. So you're going to have to be conscious. Don't sort of just be, oh yeah, I'm a little high. I can handle it. Your body may not give you the signs until you are really ill. And you need to use your glucometer, and you need to test. Now, for a type 1 diabetic, you need to test 4 times a day. And these are breakfast, lunch, dinner, bed. You can do shots after. You're kind of opened up, but you have to do your testing. So remember, we have insulin, which is important, but it's not the only part. You have eating. You need to learn how to count carbs. Talk to a dietitian. You need to learn how to do your blood test and how to interpret your blood test. And 4, you need to know when you're going low, when you're going high, how to determine. And with that, I'm going to call it a day. Have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.